Part 7. The air is thick with worlds. The bare eye sees an infinitesimal of all that can be seen. Every word ever uttered hangs in the air, is written in the very air, is held in the fractally microscopic, infinitely microscopic parts of matter. The world lives, breathes, thinks, and so does every particle. Our memories live around us, in the things we say, in our flesh, in our tensions. Our ancestors live in our DNA, have real consciousness there, real consciousness in what we say and feel about them. Emerson's first wife, Ellen, was his perfect poet, his angel, his goddess. She died young. As death approached, she assured him that she would do more for him after she died than if she stayed. She prayed for him. On her departure, a graceful death, he processed his loss with great pain. He visited her grave daily for months. Years later, he opened the grave to see her body. He said in a prayer to her that now that she was part of the heavenly sphere, she knew his innermost thoughts, all he had held back from her. Thus her voice, her image, her living consciousness became a part of him. He was naked before her, utterly and finally and thoroughly. Ellen had in this way allowed Emerson to escape the cloth, give up preaching according to tradition, and open his heart, mind, and soul to his own inner light, to a clear sight of God the divine, the majestic all. In this he finally became America's oversoul. During my atheistic years, I would dream of my deceased grandpa. I dreamt once that a church was built upon his property. I was in the church and I spoke up against the pastor. I condemned his words and teaching. The people went in a panic, and my words lit a fire. The church burned to the ground. Afterwards, I walked into my grandpa's house, and there he was. I told him sadly, "I will never see you again because I no longer believe in heaven." Before he left, we had spent years playing the guitar together. I felt he loved me dearly because I shared his love of music. After his death, he bequeathed me his Guild X50 archtop guitar. I named him Angelo, believing his angel sang through it. These worlds are as real as anything can be. We believe fully in Whitman when he says, "I bequeath myself to the dirt, to grow from the grass I love. If you want me, again look for me under your boot soles. You will hardly know who I am or what I mean, but I shall be good health to you nevertheless, and filter and fiber your blood. Failing to fetch me at first, keep encouraged. Missing me one place, search another. I stop somewhere waiting for you." The air is, after all, thick with worlds, and our bare words create worlds, real heavens that, if forgotten, would remind themselves of this man or that man generations later. Gods die to become something greater than gods, yet their name holds deific power, and simply transfers to a new form, the way an old law office transfers its calls to a new law office. We see a bare infinitesimal of all the energies around us. A million senses would not be enough, and we have a mere 5. Do you suppose, dear materialist, that you are rational in believing only what science has yet proven? What about what tomorrow proves, next year, next millennia, next million years? Your future self might look more religious than you. I don't mean they will believe the old myths of this or that religion, Judaism, Islam, Christianity, but they will comprehend the mythic language these religions invented and respect it in a way you at this time cannot. Nothing is lost, everything retained. Everything that ever lived, even the petty crab, lives forever, and so do you. What's more, who knows, but all the planets of the solar system have modes of life we have no scientific instruments yet to penetrate. We're able to see only what we are ready to see. What but the sun is thick as a coral reef with sun animals, and that we are in fact surrounded by life, while imagining Earth to be an oasis in a great desert. For the Kosmos is he who believes not only in this globe with its sun and moon, but in other globes with their suns and moons. After all, 9 out of 10 of the cells in your body are non-human. You have tiny worms growing in your eyelashes. You are so full of life, such life you never imagined, and as per the tenet of panpsychism, all this life thinks and has free will and creative power. We are absolutely bathed in life. Every photon of light thinks and chooses. We are surrounded utterly with life, and the life of Matriyama. Consider also those groups and aggregates have a consciousness of their own. The family is a brain, with a mother and father as 2 hemispheres of the family brain. How sophisticated artwork becomes! The symphony, the opera, required a tradition and a large cooperation of values, but the movie industry requires much more. The extent of the cooperative effort is unprecedented. The social interest is able to fund this. We ensuring a movie become a living shared collective consciousness, and the movie through us. I myself write from a grand empire, speaking not only the tribal intonations, with their expressions and frustrations, but also the full word. Man as a whole, mankind, man and woman, find expression in me. So does the oversoul of the States, and Emerson the mind of America, and Whitman and Dickinson 2 chambers of its heart. What 2 great poets will come to equal them, and be the full 4-chambered heart? We choose our equals, we find our sames, and think through them. We require our spiritual inner circles, scattered like bits of a star throughout time and space. The central powers, the church, the government, overlap. Freedom is interstitial. By finding the place between 2 powers, that line that runs between 2 giants where we may bravely play freely, each giant holding the other at bay, so all the spheres of consciousness have interstitial gaps where we may plant our seeds and watch them grow. After all, our spine is a world tree, and we produce seeds of every type from our innermost talent, our innermost expression, that materialization of the soul, which is the blood of the body, and that soul being the creation of the uncreated and deathless self, the innermost. So do not get too heated about communism, about equal rights, about whatever idea has possessed you. Believe in compensation, knowing that the universe is by nature just. If capitalism is exploitation of the working class, then heaven bless it. But what miracles exploitation can gain for the world and for the working class too. Technology is heaven, and the genius required for such exploitation is a miracle on earth. Poor people in America have colored televisions. They have internet. Never before have the poor had it so good. Life is better for everybody when a nation is blessed and wealthy. Such systems come with their dangers. Every system has its weakness. Every Achilles his heel, every Sigurd his shoulder of vulnerability, where the leaf fell on him as he bathed and became invincible in dragon's blood. We need the danger to give the home integrity. Were we truly invincible, we would lack growth, for growth requires weakness. This is why gods, all gods, come finally to die. Their pride and overbearing singularity eventually collapses them. They too must face mortality, which is their own apotheosis into a higher form. Nobody but your innermost self knows your secret name, neither man nor angel, neither gods nor God, neither Amma nor Matria, the ever-blessed whole, can guess your innermost name. That is the center through which all your outer forms ascend. Something is learned and retained from each form, even as your corpse decays. Something in you is eternal, and grows from each. Thus have the myths always taught. Myths are those stories believed by everyone everywhere. The power in those archetypal stories transforms us without recourse to facts. As with the Gospels, a gesture of facts in history is sheer rhetorical flourish. We must accept the Gospels as being literally 100% true, and yet insufficient, unworthy of Matriama, who is so much greater than this bare petty story, the resurrection of one man at one time, instead of the deification of all men everywhere. Let every community find its own God, its own religion. What matter does that make? A God is only as powerful as he creates. The Elohim were powerful enough to make this world, not a better world. For until we see it, we have no reason to believe him for himself, they for themselves, to praise them for their own betterment. God must come to believe in himself, not drive his followers fanatical as a cheap attempt to gain power. A community establishes a zeitgeist by bringing up contentious ideas and reaffirming the shared assumption that makes them debatable. With the layers of consciousness that we participate in, sharing in the mind of our family, of our religion, of the world, the brain is a complex set of individuals felt and experienced as a single thing. The singleness is true, the mind is one. Were that only an illusion, it is a unified illusion, it is self-evident, it is art, it is real. We in this difficult world express some angst. The industrialized world, the womb of technology, puts us on edge. We create artificial intelligence. We create beings more powerful than ourselves. Yet nothing is more powerful than yourself in all the world, no angel, no God, for you are the spiral of infinite growth. Know only to pace yourself in your growth. Love yourself, love your friends. Between any 2 entities is the logosphere they share. Each has a logosphere, but the logosphere they share envelops them like a bubble. I bring my tools, my ideas with me, wherever I go, and the one I trust and who believes me can pick up my spiritual tools, spiritual weapons, spiritual furniture, if he knows how to learn from me directly, and if he knows how to learn from me indirectly. A given group lives in a womb of shared values. But singing and praising and enacting those values, they master them as no other group can. That is what makes the group special. Learn from them. As an all-us, learn from every government, every business, every cult and religion. Be unashamed to learn from the high and the low. Yet in all this, always hold to your own. I must give my finest hour each day to Amma, who is the name I choose for the All-Divine. God is a body, and it is the universe, Matriya. God is a soul, it is Amma, the all-divine. I know her by knowing myself. The inner complexity interprets the outer rings of simplicity. The microscopic is infinitely nuanced. Our soul is an energy pattern, and my pattern cannot be expressed or duplicated by any body in the universe. It was created by the orgasm of my father and assumably my mother. That summoned my being into the zygote I entered. The art of their love made my being, and I grew from their being. But the zygote from the raped woman still has potential for good. All life has potential for good. What we in our wounded inception need is corrective art, for art charges the common world. No matter how lost we are still connected to the mother through the umbilical of her inner voice to us. We grow up and finally lose the umbilical, but her voice, the encouraging tone of her voice, remains. Maturity is being publicly what one is privately. We slowly come into that. Baby steps become manly steps. Draw on your family, with its genealogy, its lore. The spirits of your forebears talk to you and suggest things to you. They know all the secrets of your heart and soul. Drink also from your roots, your nation. Europe shares a past. The U.S. shares a future. One has tradition, the other has destiny. Wherever you are, make your tradition your destiny. You are, after all, eternal, and eternally a part of these things. Once a member, always a member. That is why Socrates took a flute lesson the day before he died. He did not consider the effort, the lesson lost, and bravely faced death without a fear or a prayer that the cup be taken from him, having full faith that justice can never be cheated. Living in this world, this globe, but living everywhere, with Amma telling stories of your exploits to planets far away, you become the subject of distant myths. Take pride that all your actions will be published, every secret disclosed. Why, the very walls listen, and your house. Your home is a living being that moves and sighs and thinks through you and about you. You are utterly surrounded by life. Suppose a man receive a ring from his secret girlfriend. Naturally, his wife asks where the new ornament came from, and he is ready for it. He bought himself a ring just for the heck of it. She frowns. Something in his answer doesn't convince her, so she asks for a receipt. He fakes a receipt using a little cunning with his computer. She is at last convinced. That ring has bad karma, if you ask a Hindu. A Catholic would call it cursed. A novelist would say it is an object of interest. Whatever the case, whether approached superstitiously or scientifically, the ring means something different than it did before. It has been figuratively charged with energy, a negative energy. It will drain him, drain his finger. Who knows but the ring will get caught in a machine and he will lose his hand, or an evil person will take notice of it, having a similar ring, and ask where he got it, and being evil, know a lie for a lie, and move in to manipulate the person. In this way we build our house. With the good things and the bad things we do, we build our house, not for today or tomorrow, but for all time. For the man or a woman who is Kosmos is the one who, constructing the house of himself or herself, not for a day but for all time, sees races, eras, dates, generations, the past, the future, dwelling there, like space, inseparable together. We know through panpsychism that a house is a living being. The soul of the house is the family who abides therein, and how they take care of the house, keep it clean and safe, is their love for the home, and also for what the home represents, marriage and family. The body is also a home, the home of the soul. How we take care of the family's house, how we take care of our soul's home, is not for today or tomorrow, but for all time. Everything you do to your body abides. Were you to commit suicide to escape your pain, that pain will follow you into your next body. There is no escaping what is yours to face. And so the races that want to create you, every part of your DNA, has a bit of their soul in you, and it informs the shape of your body and soul. You are your ancestors. Likewise, your possessions, the books you read, the trinkets and decorations you use, express meanings created by races and eras. Those meanings are physical as well as spiritual. They are the ambience, the womb by which you create yourself. The home is a womb by which we create heroic strength to face the world when we leave. If the home is a womb, the world is a rock tumbler. Either way, be it soft or hard, we will be molded and perfected into our apotheosis. All reality, all the universe, all worlds come together in us. Viruses come from space, and they change us. They come from other planets. They help us evolve. Alien contact is an established fact. In defending our bodies against alien invaders, we learn their tricks. Someday we will encounter life at our own level, but only when we are ready. We are always preparing ourselves for the next step. My perfect idiot exploded into a 6,000-page summa. Now it is done. Having written that, I am able to write this, the Kosmos, which is a great condensation of the same. That fantastic scaffolding was necessary to make an epitome. My next work will be tighter still, less boring, more intent, stronger, and more vital. In the same way, all of life is to prepare you for your death, for the way you die, the manner and means, is the one solid fact, the emblem, you bring with you to your resurrection, your apotheosis. Learn, therefore, to die well. The details that integrate will hold together and prepare the new form. Just as your parents' orgasm or orgasms summoned your soul to the zygote, so what you feel at your death will transfer your soul to your hell, heaven, or purgatory, each for a time, as you purify your soul of its charge and make it again infant for the next step. There you will be taught by your own memory, a beautiful woman robed in events, what all your choices in this life amount to, and where they bring you into the next step. The clutter of motives that informed each of your decisions will coalesce into a shape, a body shape. And just as the world is processed, normalized in this life, and you tone yourself with your world, so you subsume your world, and the world is a house, and the world is a body, and you will internalize all that for your time of hibernation, entering the chrysalis of death to prepare your next winged form. Pay close attention then to little things, for they tell. The common people seek the extraordinary, but the sage seeks the ordinary. We in our modernity dream of simpler times, dream with Thoreau of a simple life. Death simplifies matters, abbreviates, makes an epitome of all your life into a bare intimate form. After all, development exposes eternity. Socrates with his flute is a parable. We are all learning the lessons we learned, and by analogy fit them into the next life. No lesson is lost, but every teardrop was saved, like a precious treasure in the jar of Matriyama. That bad thing that happened to you, it wanted to happen. All things happen, if not for a reason, then they must be given a reason. You must be fate, you must be providence, and make a meaning for them. In this you express amor fati. You show true gratitude for life. This is how you build a life poem, as Whitman, in his Leaves of Grass, built a mind and body capable of saving the South from amputation. This woman is the glue of her family. They all hate each other, and they all love her. When she dies, she will spiritually draw the family together. Their memory of her will be true glue. They will overcome their hate and learn to love as she loved. In her actions, in all the actions of heroes, we discover that faith is fervent action. If our son or daughter joins a different religion, a cult, we might note the heretical exaggeration as a way of compensation for some personal shortcoming. Be patient, wait it out, she will come around. If you are so upset over the matter, clean your house. We purify our soul through cleaning the house. And there is no Slav who lacks one altar of cleanliness. What is your altar? What your divine? No matter what, there is no idolatry except worshipping a form we no longer believe in. My altar to Amma is my desk. I call it La Pomele, and as with my mouth and my hands and my genitals, keep the desk always clean for her, for us, for creating, for writing. I am, after all, Amandur, the devotee of Amma, and in my way I am Amma. I fully identify with the divine. Yet I am many things. I am a father, a journalist, a son, a neighbor. Integrating all these means running my household, means balancing all I am. I am angry at my daughter, as a father, at times. I am angry at my readers, as a journalist, at times. My anger is institutional. My moments of growth are when I integrate these various spheres of being, the father, the husband, the journalist, the philosopher, the devotee of Amma, Amandur, into one integrity. I integrate and would set up for myself the perfect life, the perfect death. Is death the ultimate symbol of power and control? Yet I would never take a human life. No, indeed, except to save the ones I love. The way of my language prevents me from having to have such fights. I use my love and power, as two names of one thing, to prevent violence and rage, though there are times also for this. Language is cooperation. Language is desire. Language is love. With my proper element, Soph, Lux, the Holy Spirit, wisdom, I learn to charm my world and keep the good things near and the bad things far away. How to say the whole, how to mean the whole. Every gesture expresses some of it, but we all have that moment of apotheosis where we may, if we so choose, express that one bit of power and love that changes not some things, but all things. Life is also a preparation for this. We may believe in inevitable progress, but we may decline and lose ground unless we put our full heart into what we do. Only then do we build a house that will not decline or decay, an eternal house with no cursed objects or bad karma. This peach pit of my heart, blocked from the world in a terrible isolation, only slowly cracks to reveal the sprout of the peach, which is also the tree of life. What I write and do is a gift for you for all time, just as you give me gifts equally potent, equally irreplaceable, though I search the entire universe for the same, and will never have them, except from you. We are able to read ancient books as the ancients could not, and can take Shakespeare much higher than he took himself. A book builds an oral tradition, a collective consciousness that materializes in various writings, but never in its fullest form. The spirit of Shakespeare is our full collective experience of him. And though scholars have written of him endlessly, no writing captures the full sense. All manifestations are fragments. The soul of Shakespeare, his name, the idea of him, grows more complex, century by century. So it is with me and my books, The Perfect Idiot, The Fingerfolds, Kosmos, Amasong, The Metamyths, The Emma Legends, The Theron Tales, Mad Eye, and whatever else I create for my flesh. My art is my resurrection. I am with you when you read. As Shakespeare's phenomenal consciousness lives on through his reputation, not fully abstracted from this world, so he grows through us. Emerson said that there is a pleasure in the thought that the particular tone of my mind at this moment may be new to the universe. All our tones are based on that central name at the center of our being. The tones and inflections we create could never be created. Who could create a new play that would soundly pass for the work of Shakespeare's? It is impossible. Nor is Shakespeare done writing. As Emerson also said, the soul has been made in this life unconquerable, so at death it bursts into eternity like a god to conquer worlds. What a mystery is death! What a mystery life! It is a mystery because it is infinite. And we, through experience, through art, through science, have gained but a toe of the foothills, of the mountains, that reach upwards towards the all. So give yourself to your art, build your house. What you create in this life is your heaven in the next. Wisdom is self-subsistence. Come to hold to your own. Pay your passion first. Give the best hours of your day to God, and create for her. Hold the noble reverence to the departed, and honor them and what they have done, and work to honor also the future generations. They all stand together. Amma contains them all. Practice at what you think is right. Use improves. The house you build, be it hut or mansion, is a living being, and will only grow. If a fire burned it to ash, the idea of it will persist, and take on the shell of the next house you build. Thus what we build is like ourselves, in man's gradual glorification. In my own house, Castle Sheridan, is the womb of the making of the divine diamond, the souls of my children, my wife, myself. Let the world be the rock tumbler. Let the home be the nurturing, the gentle, the firm, the affirming. Immersed in mother love, we are nourished and filled. Wrestling our fathers till we grow strong, we can take on any foe. Life is a divine scaffolding. All to prepare our moment of expression, and also our death. Every new experience is allowed by the previous and enriches them. New lights glorify old memories. Let therefore philosophy be prophecy, and let this book stand for my apotheosis, for the apotheosis I have endured in writing it. Let me live up to it, grow, and prepare for the next spiral outwards. Society frustrates. Only slowly do I gain the power and control to command, respect, and invite love. Respect a man as a potential god, Emerson advised, and so I respect others and would be likewise respected. Every set of ideas implies an ascetic. I exercise. I wake now at 7 a.m. instead of 2 p.m. as before. I cut off inappropriate relations that interfere with my marriage, which is eternal, for this life and the next. I learn to live up to my virtues of simple order, loyal commitment, repeated study, direct truth, optimizing optimism, pragmatic practicality, of creative expression, and the innermost virtue of self-reliant independence. I encourage you to discover the virtues that define you and your life goal. Write them down on a piece of paper and study them for a week, meditating on them each morning and night. When you have them utterly memorized, eat the bitter paper, as the monarch caterpillar eats the bitter leaf of the milkweed, a poisonous plant. Drink the paper down with milk. Let that meaning go into your being. In this way you will be beautiful in your own eyes and also in the world's, and in God's. Amma will meet you in your growth. This is the last leaf of the monarch caterpillar, and you must digest its lesson, isolate, Go into your chrysalis, metamorphose, and emerge the psyche, the winged god, the form of your personal apotheosis, the invincible monarch butterfly. Amma is with us in all we do, and so too are our friends and family, and I also am with you in all you do. You are utterly loved, utterly surrounded by life. Become with us Kosmos. Become with us allists divine.